I do have 6 o'clock.
All right, I will call this meeting to order for the Kiowa water and wastewater. That's really tough.
I don't have a quorum.
On September 12th, we do. We have Teresa and Tim both
Awesome.
online. So we need to, we have the agenda in front of us. We need to add on the agenda Wright Water Engineers proposal under new business. So it will be D. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of Wright Water Engineering's proposal?
I so moved.
Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion carries. In your packet, we had the minutes. If you got a chance to peruse them and see if there were any additions or changes.
I think they were fine.
They look good to me.
So Teresa is making a motion to approve the minutes as presented. Do I have a second?
Yeah. All right, I'll second it. He went mute.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor? Aye.
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 We really
He
did
really
lose
was mute.
Tim. My guess is he's driving here or something. You just never know. Yeah.
I don't even wanna look
See
at it, cause I
see
can see stuff moving.
I know.
It's moving.
Blech. Okay, so in our packets, we have your year-to-date financials. Oh, there he is. See, we did. We're like, Tim, you get to second it.
He went mute on us.
All right, so we'll now change the Tim's
What
in
packet
person.
or what paper are we gonna look at first?
So let's do your financials. So you have the
What with the
spreadsheet.
green and the black and the red?
Oh, that's, well, yeah, if you look at, this is where we're actually
Actual,
at
what we
for right
got,
now.
yeah. I actually looked at this last night on the computer.
So,
Thank you, Kim, for sending it.
You're welcome. Sorry, took longer than.
no, it really, and yeah, no, we did, it did, works awesome. So, couple of things just noteworthy. Our repairs, infrastructure repair and maintenance for water is like twice what we budgeted. Just FYI.
Yes, but we have this contingency here on line number 41.
Yeah.
We might have to dip into that.
Well, if you go to actuals, it's at 0.
Well, we haven't used it yet.
It's been modified.
Mhm.
So, and our legal obviously is super high. So,
Whose fault is that?
well, it's going through all the operating agreement and all that kind of stuff. So spilled milk at this point.
Okay.
So, any other questions, thoughts?
Gonna have to come from Teresa because she's sharper at this than I am.
Teresa, did you have any questions when you looked at it?
No, I just wish we had more.
Yeah, no kidding.
More what, bills?
Money, no. Enough bills.
Okay.
And did you get a chance, Kim, did you send this to Teresa?
I did,
Oh, good, thank
I
you.
said it,
Yes,
I
I'm
was
looking at it.
everybody on that email.
Okay,
that I
perfect.
sent.
Well, the one with the budget,
The
cause I
one-
didn't send it to anybody.
No,
Well, that's not fair.
I know, sorry.
no.
Will you, I can forward it. It's okay. Teresa, I took that spreadsheet. I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, but I could do it while you're doing it.
Okay, yeah. if you
I have
could-
the bill.
Oh, thank you. Okay, So Paul, you're up for staff report.
Cool.
Okay, hello, everybody.
Hi,
So everything is going pretty good, except the sewer plant has a couple of issues. We have the actuator that's not working on the effluent valve.
Mhm.
What new one is going to take 2 weeks to get here. So we're trying to maintain that treatment plant so it doesn't cause any odors or anything. And then the digester is having an issue through all of this. So we're spending some extra time coming in every day to waste into the digester and control the blower, because it's just accumulated a lot of foam inside it. And then I still have to look at sending back that fiberglass 90. I need to call them and see what it'll take to send that back.
The elbow one, sewer plant. That
What now?
elbow, that
Oh, yeah.
fiberglass elbow.
So what, we didn't need it or we do
We
need it?
did not need it. They patched it, CNC. Did they do a fiberglass patch? Is that what they did?
Yes.
Yeah, CNC did it.
How long is that, you think that'll last, Paul?
The other one looks like it has some kind of a fiberglass patch on it as well, and it seems to be lasting. I don't know when it was done, so I'm guessing it's gonna last for quite a few years.
So do you think it behooves us to hang on to the elbow or send it back? Uh-oh, you went mute. We lost you.
It froze.
CNC didn't charge us for those repairs either.
To do the repairs because we waited so long, so. We were gonna see if. we
Correct.
could-
They did.
Okay.
Sort of.
So what was it brand new? And now that we have it, it's slightly used, what's it gonna cost? How much are we gonna take in rears for that?
I don't know what
Do you even remember what it cost? I don't.
it was.
remember.
Over 5,000.
Yeah, I thought it was like.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so I don't really wanna keep it sitting around.
Sort of like that one pump that was sitting out in the yeah. All right, well, I guess we'll get what we can out of it.
Okay. So Paul, what do you?
Can you
need
hear
to-
me?
Yeah,
No, you totally cut out.
So the elbow was over $5,000. So I'll call them and see it. I don't know. They may charge like a restocking fee of 10% or something. I don't know.
Okay. So do I wanna hear the story about the Mr. Coleman? Paul?
No,
No?
what did you, so what do we need to do to fix the digester?
So I talked to somebody else, another operator that said he's experienced this before, and he said we just need to waste in it every day and cut back on the digester blower air. So that's what I've started to do. I started yesterday and was out there again this morning. So I'll just be out there every day until it's back under control. And he kind of implied it would probably take a couple of weeks.
Okay, so it's something that we can manage, it sounds like, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
So
What,
is this on a timer that every so often it,
3 days a week it doesn't.
So the blower has its own timers, which I've adjusted the timers for this new process that we're going to do. And then the wasting, because we're only using one basin, the waste does not happen automatically anymore. So we have to manually do it.
I see.
did, it Brown Hill or whoever they are, did they get you any idea when they're gonna fix the effluent valve?
So yeah, Browns Hill said that valve, the actuator will be here in a couple weeks. So then as soon as it gets here, they're going to get scheduled to come out and replace it.
Okay,
I'm gonna assume the actuator is in a place where you can get to it without having to drain or.
Correct.
Oh. Yeah.
Paul, did you think about anything that you want added to the 2024 budget that we may not have discussed?
I don't have anything particularly, other than maybe we can add some valves into the water mains. if there's room to add that in the budget for next year to replace a couple of those valves or add new valves in places.
don't we still have to do two of the pressure valves that are,
We do have to do two of those, and I think we agreed to do one a year. So the next one we would do would be either the one next to the fire station, which is the main one for town, or the one on Ute and Apache.
okay? And what kind of money do you, just rough idea, do you remember? Are these the smaller ones?
No, so the one on Ute and Apache, that's the 8-inch, and then the one over by the fire station, that's the 12-inch.
Okay,
Those will involve a crane of some sort, won't it?
Well, he switched out the other 8-inch. He has his own hoist. So he didn't need a crane or anything. He just brought his own hoist out and pulled the old one out and put the new one back in.
What was the downtime on the water supply? I mean, how long was the town shut down?
So that one does not require actually none of them will require the town to be out of water, because we'll just, the smaller 3-inch to supply town.
Do you try to do them in the summertime when school's not in session?
We can, yeah, that'd preferably be the best time anyways, so he doesn't have to deal with the weather.
All right.
did you get your UV bulbs ordered?
Not yet. So I got to send them the W9, and then we should be able to get those ordered, and then it'll take a couple of weeks for them to get here. So we should have that by the end of this month.
Did you get a price on them?
I'd have to go back and look at my notes, but I did get a price. I think we were spending like I think they were a little over $3,000.
Wow.
Find my notes.
Just so that I can add that into what will still be spent this year.
Yeah, so I'll find the notes, and then, but I'm pretty sure it was a little over $3,000.
Okay.
But then we're doing 100 meters next year.
Are we doing more meters?
Yeah, it should be,
Yeah.
we should have 100.
We're gonna start in the mobile home park and do the rest of the meters that we have in stock. And then as soon as we run out, then we'll be waiting until next year when we order another 100 meters.
Okay. Do you foresee a jump in price?
You know, I think that some people will definitely notice a difference in the usage. The old meters, they tend to err in the side of the customer, so they don't charge as much.
Okay. Do you see the initial price for us buying those meters going up next year?
No, I think that the price should stay the same.
Gonna stay the same, okay.
Any other questions for Paul?
Tim, you've been awfully quiet.
No, nothing from me.
Okay.
All right, Paul, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
And I'll share the other thing with you about Rick and then later. Because we'll let you share it. Sasha, you're up.
Okay, yay me. All right, so, it's been kind of fun. They updated my hard drive on my computer. This guy, which they gave it like a 2 terabyte drive, which is great, but things got messed up. So had a little problem, but finally got RVS fixed today. So I was having a little trouble. I could export into the computer from Express Bill Pay, but then I couldn't import it into RVS. So we got it fixed today. So it's all good.
Okay.
So, and so they're working on, then we're still working on getting now that we've got that fixed, then we'll work on getting downloading the program for for them to be able to just drive by and read the meters.
Did they give you a price on that?
I don't think it's really gonna cost anything. It's just a download of a program, but
Oh.
I will double check.
Okay,
But that's what it sounded like, is they just had to download something or,
I thought we still had an expense coming with it.
okay, well, I'll find out. I'll find out.
Do we have, because we already have the the reader, right?
Yeah, we have the reader. I think
We
the expense
just-
was syncing them.
Right,
So
so,
to get to a certain number of them before they would do that next phase of
Mm.
syncing them.
right,
Okay,
And I think
So-
there was an expense associated with that.
right, but we're
I
not,
just wanna make sure that as I
Yeah.
budget, we leave you
Okay.
money for it.
I will
Okay.
ask them that.
Okay,
Other than that, I have the July before and then the August, and I got the systems totals report back instead of director's report. I figured out how to fix that, so. RBS and I have been talking a lot lately. I think they're getting.
Tasha
fun.
really liked them. She said they
Yes,
were
They're
really
very,
good.
they're very friendly, but I've been playing phone tag with the one guy. It seemed like every time I would call and say, I need help, and then they'd call and, whatever, so.
So it looks like the water loss for August is a
Yes.
little bit on the ugly side.
Because we had 3 leaks.
We had 3 yolks.
We had 3 yolks that went out,
Mhm.
and,
7th, the 10th, and
yeah, and so we had quite a bit of leakage, that's where that comes from.
we also have, we have an issue up at the curb stop out in front of this building
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Which may also still be an issue. Mendes brought to my attention today. I did let Paul know about it. He's had Mendes watching it, thinking it was part of the sprinkler. Mendes is like, he keeps putting his pump in the hole and pumping water out every day. So I'm like, that's not the sprinkler.
No,
No,
So I told Paul today, I said, you need to check it out tomorrow, make sure there's nothing going on under the ground again.
okay, yeah.
just out of curiosity, I know this has been going for years and years and years. When the fair is going, does that go as charged at bulk, or do they also get charged a sewer?
You know, that's a good question. It's my understanding the only bulk that they're pulling out is what they're hauling for roads and such. I'm not aware of them pulling bulk unless you know of any operations. that they're
No,
doing
the
there.
only thing that I know that they pull bulk is when they do the arenas and they pull it off of that meter thing. And there's a separate notebook where Jay and them are supposed to call you and turn it in.
Track of it.
So,
They've been doing that?
I don't know, but I will find
yeah, so check with, because Road and Bridge should have 2 separate tallies. They have one for the fairgrounds and one for Road and Bridge.
Yeah, and you know,
Okay.
we did have a discussion about this when Tasha was here training
Mhm.
Sasha at one point. I don't feel like there's enough of a structure
Mm-hmm,
in keeping those totals. It's really a honor system
Yes.
absolutely.
right now, and it's not that I don't trust them. It's
Right.
just, it should be a more set in place process.
Mhm.
And, an option was, and I tossed this around with Tasha when she was here. One of the other municipalities that we were checking into for bulk water. They required, one, that they have their own meter. And that when they start using the hydrant, they take a picture of that meter and what the beginning read is on that meter. And at the end of the day, or however long they're using it, then they take a picture, and it has to be date stamped and time stamped, of what that end number is. And Tasha said, well, that's gonna be cumbersome for people like Kelty who come and they hook up their hose and they leave their meter hooked there, which I think is stupid too.
Yeah.
Since that thing cost about $6,000.
Yeah,
And they just leave it open all day for trucks to come and go all day long, and that's great if they wanna do that, but at the end of the day. Come retrieve your meter, take a picture of it and send us a picture of that day.
Right.
And every day that happens, they need to do that. If we have no other way to monitor it.
So I
I know
was
it's-
thinking, go
where
ahead.
we're doing electronic with all these houses, why couldn't we find something that would do a bulk?
I mean, I can talk to Paul about that. I don't know if there is anything like that with the bulk water.
What if instead we just work something out with the county? We say, we're not doing any bulk sales. We will only bulk sale to the county. If Kelty and them wanna get town water from the county, they set it up to get it out of their dispenser. Because the county's putting in their bulk head dispenser. And then if the county wants to mark it up, let the county mark it up. More power to them.
So
They're putting in a
think it's a great
dispenser and
idea.
then our hydrants aren't getting used and abused.
Yeah, cause I just don't think it's cost effective for Kiowa to go
No.
put in a bulk water.
Well,
dispenser.
yeah, we already went that route and looked that over and tabled it because it was just too darn expensive to set it all up. But I think we were gonna do it on the north side of
We were gonna do it on
Up
the,
there where
on the fire station
Yeah.
is. But I just. Because it would sure make it easy for us to shut down all bulk water sales if we need to.
When is county gonna do that?
I don't know where they're at on that process. We'd have to ask Troy. So will you reach out to
Yeah, I'll
Troy
reach out to
and
Troy.
let's just. I don't know, it's just something to consider. Because fire hydrants were not designed for this to begin with.
What is that
And
thing called they're putting in?
it's a bulk water dispensing system.
I mean,
Hooked to our,
bulk
hooked to
water's a
our
lot.
water.
Mhm. I don't know how much bulk water revenue we're I mean, I guess we could sit down and figure it out,
If we pumped 1,000,000 gallons,
right?
But we're only charging, I think it's like $20 for every 1,000 gallons.
I believe that's right.
I know we looked into the system that, to save our hydrants.
So how much? did
So
you
this
guys
is,
say
this
that?
is bulk water used. That's
Right.
not, we didn't sell 906,000 gallons of bulk water in 1 month. Is that,
Who wrote this on here?
I did,
Oh, okay, so is that for the year or?
maybe, yes. I mean, it's whatever number came up when I was.
can
adding
you
up
double
the
check that? Because I just
Yeah.
don't feel like that's accurate.
Yeah. I'll double check.
so if it is, it's about 1/3 of our revenue.
Yeah, that's why
That's
I don't think
case
it's
then.
accurate, because we don't sell that much to.
Okay.
Our biggest user is county.
The daily meter gets complicated because you're paying someone an expensive truck to go back and forth at the end of the day when they may not be there. I do think there's another solution, and it could just be that if you want to hook up to it, it's a $500 fee or something like that. It makes us know that we can replace whatever the equipment is. And then.
You mean like a 500 flat fee in addition to their bulk water fee?
Yeah,
Okay,
something along those lines. So if we have to replace, the hydrant.
We already do that. We already do a deposit for that meter. So we have a meter here.
So as opposed to a deposit, just a fee.
so you would charge them 500 on top of their bulk water usage.
But
Right.
what are we doing? Okay.
And so like Kelty, who has their own meter,
Yeah.
but then we would still, for others, we may check out our meter with the deposit.
Or, tell me what you think about this. What if we did like an escrow account? Where they have to put in, if they tell us how much they think, there's gonna be a long-term thing. Like I got somebody who just emailed, she wants a couple 100 gallons for some road work. Maybe that would work for her, but with these big accounts like that, what if we did like an escrow where they have to pay a lump sum, and once they've used that up, they have to come back and replenish the escrow again?
But still, how are you gonna know what they've taken?
Oh, that's true.
I mean, it solves getting paid for it, but it doesn't solve.
Keeping track of it.
Yeah.
We need to be keeping track of it.
We just put a meter on it, right? Put one of our new smart meters on and then talk to the fire department in the event they actually use it.
They did report, like August, they had no usage.
Yeah, they
so-
use it.
I think they only use it when they're doing training.
Yeah.
Or filling up, if we have a wildfire, they're filling up their truck.
Probably the goal is to avoid the little users that are a pain in the butt and
Yeah.
drop and
That's what
break
I'm
and all that.
thinking.
A $500 deposit's not a bad way to go about that. And for someone like Kelty, it's gonna be a hell of a lot easier than having to send a truck back at the end of the day to take photos and the like. And assuming that the numbers are right, it's a significant portion of the revenue.
So don't do away with it, because you still want the revenue.
Kelty hasn't been around that much. Have they sent any checks in a while? Because Kelty and the county are really, well, Hammaker calls,
Yeah.
he gives us numbers.
Yep,
County just sends a check.
yep, and
Right.
Hamburger sends a check.
We don't know what the usage is.
Mhm.
They just send a check.
And that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
They should be, they were, originally it was set up that they would call in,
Mhm.
tell you what their readings were.
Mhm.
And fairgrounds,
Look for trash can.
Oh,
part of it would go to fairgrounds and part of it went to Road and Bridge. I don't know when it got changed, but that's how it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So,
so Kelty just brings it, and they did the same thing. They just bring in a check, but Kelty will tell you how many gallons. with
Right.
the check.
Mhm.
They,
Yeah,
county just sends a check.
Right.
yeah, and Hammaker always calls in.
Hammaker calls in every time they're over there
Yep,
pulling water.
Yep.
We're here right now, we're pulling 3,000 gallons.
Yep. yep, they do it
So
every
they call
time.
At the time they're pulling it.
Hmm.
And they'll
Yeah,
tell you how
they're
many
really
they're
good. So,
Well, I think their budget's a little tighter too.
pulling. Yeah.
Well, or they're accountable for their budget.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably want the county to have good access to water.
But since they're putting in their system up there and they're so close to being.
Well,
up
it's
there.
really no different than what they do with us with the gas. Like, we have the ability to go over there and fill up their gas pumps.
And they bill you guys.
And they bill
for-
us for
yeah.
that.
Okay.
So there has to be some sort of equitable system there. you know
Well,
what I
and
mean?
and I know they're setting it up so that fairgrounds can go up there. And so that it comes out of fairgrounds budget, not, so I know there's a system.
Where they're able to make that.
Well, all as simple as a card. All you do is stick your card in a.
That's what
Yeah.
their fueling thing is.
Yeah,
I'll call Troy.
let's
See what we
just
can
talk
work
to
out
them and
with it.
see.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, they, if I put it across as, it's no different than you want to be accountable for what you're paying for gas out of the gas pump, you know?
yeah,
We need to be accountable for how much water usage is coming out of this town. That's not just a want, that's a requirement on us, you know?
yeah,
So we have to be able to answer to that if somebody comes to the door and says, hey,
well, and I'll be honest with you, I don't care if they wanna mark it up to them, that's between them and, yeah, I mean, cause we're still gonna get the sale of it, the bulk water. To them, and then
Right.
we're still gonna get the money for it.
Right.
it's just gonna be their
Yeah, it's.
meter
yeah,
instead of
yeah,
ours.
Yeah, and then we can have them all locked up and,
I think it looks better too, when you got a public screaming and yelling that you got so much water, you're just letting people from outside your community take it anywhere they want. And I think if we get rid of those small ones that are doing it and just keep it right there, then let county do what the heck they want.
Well,
County
that's-
answer to it.
You do that, then the county will be, if they wanna issue someone a card to get in there and get water. Then that's between the
That's
county
good
and that
enough.
person.
Yeah. And they may say they're not interested, I don't know, but I think it's worth at least approaching the subject.
Yeah. Okay.
To counter all this, like, this is our job to sell water.
Right,
Having another middleman. So if we lose the revenue and like the argument against for the people who don't want us to sell water. I mean, it's not dollar for dollar, but we at least have to raise rates 15 or 20% to make up for that loss.
But we don't sell enough bulk water to those small ones to take a huge loss, and we also have to answer to how many acre feet are we selling?
Yes.
well, I don't think Kelty and any of them are gonna have a problem going up to the county thing.
The
Or
biggest-
Hammocker's or any of
They'll
them.
actually have more.
Would we
room up
rather
there.
control
Yeah.
that than hand that over to the county?
The downside, and I can see, but if we're getting the same amount of money for it, why would we wanna spend more? On a dispensing situation?
So I think it'll pay itself off pretty quickly and we'll have additional revenue thereafter. And in the event the county does charge a markup, it's some money we could have taken.
You still have the paperwork on that
That's
dispenser?
dispenser thing?
Yeah.
Probably, it's the same, it was the one that's over at Deer Trail was the one that we looked at,
Right.
that Tasha and I dug through on.
I know at the time it was like, oh, we don't even have the money to begin with.
So I can tell you that well, I have my fire district meeting tomorrow night,
Right.
so. They're. Looking at taking the money that they set aside to do that line.
Mhm.
When they were waiting, we were gonna split the line. And pay off the addition on the fire station, cause it'll save them 3 years worth of interest.
Wow,
So 3 years worth of interest lets me put another paramedic on next year,
It's nice.
yeah. So,
what was the interest rate?
I don't know, it's like 4 something,
Jeez.
3 or 4, yeah, it's minimal, they gave us a great, community banks gave us, it's a lease purchase, so.
Oh,
So how about we table this until we figure out whether or not there's like FEMA funds available, because
never mind.
presumably this is part of, I'm sure we could enhance the system by having a dispenser there. And then if we're installing meters everywhere anyway, why don't we put our own damn meter on this thing?
Well, I wonder why we couldn't, I mean, does it have to be like one of the fancy dispenser stations? I mean, can it not be a stem pipe with the meter and the, I mean, I don't know, I just,
Well, it could, but, here's what the county, Arapahoe County does. They have a card to, get your gas, just like they do here. They
So,
also have a card for you to get your depth. And it's
Mhm.
spent, it's off to the side. There's no reason why you couldn't do a card dispenser for your water too. And then they would have to come see one of these ladies. They would be issued a card. And they would immediately, the minute they stuck it in there, they know that they were getting their water, and then, when it shut off, then they know exactly how much water. They never have to report because it comes in through the internet.
just so you know, our income from bulk water this year is only $7,900
79,
through September, to today, yeah.
okay. And most of that is.
So,
Most of it's county.
I mean, if we used 1 million gallons here, it's gotta be more than that, right? That or we're undercharging.
Well, I don't know if that number, I have to go back and look at that.
See, here's the thing, we're not invoicing them.
Yeah, not the
We're
county.
not invoicing. We're just getting money in from what they say they're using.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's a
because there's no
process.
accountability.
$7,948 is all that we brought in for revenue this year on bulk water sales. And that's why Debbie says,
Yeah, cause
buying a bulk water station for $8,000.
It's just not justifiable.
No.
So what's the 906,000?
Yeah,
that's what that's what I said, I have to go back and look at that.
I don't know what the number is, but I can tell you, we
Yeah.
did not sell
Yeah,
$906,000 worth
I'm
of.
thinking that was a typo on my part. So,
What size valves was Paul saying he wanted to look at?
8 and 8 and
an
a
8 and
12.
12.
8 and a 12,
Mhm.
So when we got these figures,
okay,
yeah, 8 was $10,632.94.
11 grand.
Wait, it's not, well, it's not all of it. With $691.25 for the gaskets, fasteners and freight. And $2,439 to remove and then reinstall.
And what was the total?
So I did not add those all together, cause what I did is he had 2 of those,
10
Oh,
and 12,
so
so
kind of split
roughly
it in half. Yeah,
13,000-14,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
about that.
So,
And then the 112 was $26,374.
how much?
20, with the valve and the same freight and gaskets and labor and everything, $26,374.21.
So it's probably every bit of 28 now, at least.
Yeah, cause while they may not go up on the pay valve cost, they may go up on their labor.
Right.
well, freight's gonna go up.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
given.
Okay. How much do you know how much our meters were running? Thank you, just so that we'll have the number as we proceed.
We add that fire and flushing number back into the report, the one that was in July. And then if we can do that, why don't we add bulk water into this too? Let's track that separately as well.
okay,
Does that make sense?
so you want the fire flushing numbers,
Let's just add the fire flushing back into the system total report.
okay,
Then let's put a new line for bulk water in as well.
okay,
Got it. Those meters are $314.76 each.
Okay.
50 of them cost us $15,735.
what was that?
Aren't we a third of the way done?
We will be a third of the way done by the time he gets these last ones done.
Okay, and how much were they?
They were $314.70 a piece.
So I would imagine in a few months we'll have somebody squawking because their water usage went up.
Now, these are the residential ones. Paul was talking about a couple
Yeah.
commercial ones that we,
So how do we, that's a whole nother thing that he
Yeah.
asked me about at our meeting, and Kim and I were like, we're gonna table that for now. So we've got the Justice Center
Mhm.
and the condos. And of course, there are much larger meters.
Mhm.
So he was supposed to get us prices on them. He said, do you want me to get those done? And I'm like, yeah, no, not yet. Tell me how much they are first.
Right.
So yes, we have to do them. We're collecting the $3. We'll make it do it, but we just gotta figure out when.
Mhm.
So he's supposed to be getting prices on both of those.
Well, I don't know that we can sit here and eat the whole apple in one bite. It may
Yeah.
take a couple of years,
Well, and the condos is 4 large ones.
right?
So.
Even though there's 4 people or 4 residents on 1 meter. So.
mhm.
And, you know,
Yeah,
you
because
may get
they're not
questions.
metered separately. Each building has a meter.
You guys being part of the water board may get questions, you may get
Sure.
people who see you out in public, but
Yep.
there are a lot of people here under the perception that I got my new meter in, so why isn't my $3 still on my bill? It's gonna be there for the
Yep.
foreseeable future, because $3 a month is not gonna pay for that meter.
No.
And if your new one, if your brand new one craps out, we're gonna have to replace it again.
Right,
So,
yeah.
Well, and that's when you start. Browbeating Paul around the head and shoulders going, why did this crack and how are we gonna fix it? That doesn't happen again.
yeah.
So.
Okay, so so I guess I need a motion to table the bulk water. And Kim will update us from talking to the county, and I will see what I can find on the system that we looked at before.
So moved.
Okay, Tim
I'll
is
second.
making a motion, Eric is seconding it. All those, Teresa, are you still here? Sorry,
I'm still here.
thank
All
you. All those in favor of tabling the bulk water at this time?
Aye.
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 Okay. So, Sasha, did you have anything else for us? Okay,
Isn't that enough?
yes, it is, quite frankly. So Kim, do you want to brush up on the yoke, share with them the yoke repairs, or did you want me to jump in and share that now, or?
Go ahead.
So we're starting to see some failures of the yokes.
Mhm.
We had 3 in the last 40 days.
Mhm.
And, we are passing those costs back to the property owner. The repair time ranges from Paul's guy was doing them, one of them was 11 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. I did call 2 plumbers. Because after we met, I said, I just feel like I gotta reach, because
Sure.
it's not, I didn't feel like it was fair to one of our customers to say, well, you have to pay this bill, and yet
Sure.
we picked the contractor.
Yeah.
So I called to get some estimates, saying, okay, if we supply the yoke, here's the size of the yoke, what is the labor cost? Both of them came back, well, Debbie, yours in your town, you don't have valves that we can shut it off all the time, so a lot of times we have to wait for it to bleed down and and some of them are in the meter pit, some of them are, whatever.
Yeah.
So, the basis of it was, it runs anywhere from 2.5 hours to 6 hours. So 6 hours would be having to pull the rings and get down in there when it's too low. So, and that cost would be, without the yoke, would be $600 to $1,300.
That's labor.
So realistically, the bills that Kim has,
The highest one's like 700.
I don't know that putting the hourly rate on there is somehow that, because somebody's gonna be like,
Well, it may trigger somebody, and I
yes.
agree.
But that is, Paul did bill it out by the hour. And so, but their highest one
This is
is,
like $700. The highest one was $700.
okay, I was
That for
thinking,
the 11-hour one?
Mhm.
yeah,
That's
so,
cheap then.
It is to compare what she, the
Yeah.
information she got.
Yeah, because 6 to
I thought it was
13.
crazy, but
Yeah, and I did too, but that's
Yeah.
why I called the two
Mhm.
people I did, cause one is a higher spectrum on price and
Sure.
one is a lower, and they were both in agreement, so. And they are ones that people would have used locally, so.
I would also like to ask, along the same token, when I worded my letters, I did pull from the code from what they've used in the past, but I don't know, and I don't know if this is a question for George or it's one we make arbitrarily, but should we make a separate policy under the authority for emergency repairs to this nature and have our own language? I mean, I know there's a lot of people right now that think the town and the authority are all the same and always will, but you know,
If,
at some point, you're gonna get somebody and go, oh, well.
but if they don't have a curb stop, I think I was wondering about this, cause if there is no curb stop, then the only way to stop the flow is to either shut everybody down on that street, so we should have the right to mandate that it be repaired now.
Right,
So I was wondering about having George draw up some kind of a resolution or something, cause you're right, it's in the town code, but it's not in
and also
ours.
referring to the fact that it is their responsibility because of where it is to pay it.
Yeah,
Cause right now it just says from the curb stop to the residence is the customer's thing. Well, Paul tells me the hole's on the customer's side, so it's the customer's doing. I was like, so if there was a hole on the other side of the yoke, that becomes the water authorities. He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's too,
that's too bad,
yeah,
it's discretionary.
yes.
And
I'm
we're not
afraid
gonna go
that's gonna
discretionary,
bite
we
us
need
in the
black and white.
butt. Yeah. So something in black and white so that it makes it easier to speak to if somebody comes in this office screaming, because I think this is the first time people are being charged for these.
We went
And-
back through and it looks like we've been eating them.
Wow,
Yes,
aren't we the good little people?
yeah.
Hmm.
So a good third of Paul's invoice this month is gonna be fixing his jokes.
Tim, your
Is
wheels are
there-
turning, I can tell.
Okay, so if this seems to be a chronic problem, is because high
Well, it's all of
pressure?
it, I don't know, it's all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I
Well,
think a lot of them, Paul had said, are older.
yeah, I
And
was
they're
gonna
just
say they're
starting to
older
fail.
and they're starting to fail.
so it's all on the older side of town.
No,
No.
they were in Fawn Valley, one was on Fawn Valley, one was on Navajo.
Mhm.
One was over on Cheyenne.
And even the one on Navajo, their house isn't that old. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not. Now Cheyenne probably was an older one,
Oh, it's giant, yeah.
but
Now, that last time, that was just the settlement of the dirt, right? There was no leak or
where?
right in front of the church.
Oh, yeah, that was
Oh,
so.
that's a totally separate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a trench that was previously dug there for the other repair, and where the trench was dug under the other part of the road that wasn't cut out.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it
was-
packed back in there.
It was like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped and I looked
So
at it.
I ended up having road crew from Elbert County with engineers from Elbert County come over there. It was about 10 of us standing there looking at a hole for about 30 minutes. They're like,
Yep, it's a hole.
it's a hole
And
and
that's
it's a
a
hole that wasn't
problem.
filled in correctly and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's another reason why the state of highway department didn't cap up there between the fire
They
department.
let it settle.
They let it sell, even though everybody was bitching about this and
We
that.
talked about that.
yeah.
And when they finally got around to it, that will never be a problem again until the next water day.
So we gotta scoot right along or we're gonna end up.
Couple questions.
Okay.
So, one, how many yokes were installed at the same time? Is all of Fawn Valley presumably on the same yoke with the same lifetime?
I would say within
Probably.
months of each other, if not, well, I don't
Within a
know.
year of each other,
Yeah.
probably over there.
Yeah,
How
I
many
don't,
homes in Fawn Valley?
wow. Why does he always have to ask it?
I don't know.
50? 100?
No,
Do the answer, Tim. I'm gonna have to look into this and I'll get back with you.
Yeah.
because don't have it in
I
front
would
of me.
guess, would you guess there's 75?
is there that many, you think, in Fawn Valley?
So if it is 75 and we can assume all of them will fail in the next 3 years?
I hope not. Of course, they're 20 years old. Those houses went up in what? The
99.
99, 90, yeah.
Okay.
Where's my map? Here's my map.
So that's a little over 100 grand right there. The next question is, we think that the additional loss was from those three, but that's 500,000 gallons. That can't be right, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm also bringing in this curb stop out here. I don't know what's going on to the ground with
Right.
that, you know?
Cause there's a leak out there too.
We don't know how much bulk water is accurate.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
The lots, good.
Yeah,
job.
it's in the county.
When, it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but from listening to you guys and learning through this process, when you change out these meters and you go to a
Yeah,
digital
there's a
meter,
loss.
there's a loss there because now it's reading more accurately.
Yes,
So
And whatever was
initially
on
there's
before did not
traditional
carry
loss.
forward.
Yeah.
correct, yeah, cause it resets.
So it'll work its way out, you know, the longer it goes, but initially. And he's been hot and heavy in installing new meters too.
So, I mean, if we've been eating, well, first, we should let the folks in that neighborhood know that we expect them to pay for those yoke replacements. Right?
Well, I think there should be some, that's what I mean, there should be something drawn up for the water authority. Advising, yeah, if things like this happen, and I need to push it out there, you know, because it's in a way that this has been a concern, it has come to our attention. These things are happening so that the community is aware, you know,
Well, it's like so many of them not having the pressure relief valves.
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
that too.
we've got that problem too.
And do you wanna hit 75 folks out there with a $1,200 charge over the next couple of years?
Yeah,
Or is it better to book the reserve on our own?
But we don't have the reserve to book.
I mean,
Right.
I
and
guess
same
that's my
token,
question. Is it better to increase the rates to fund that reserve? It's
I
better
say
to-
it's either or and a hit and miss till somebody's,
and really tap fees are what should be going to, things like that, they should be going into a reserve and held for infrastructure repairs.
Sure.
That's what tap fees are meant for,
Mhm.
so.
yeah.
And that's why I feel like that is better served in going into a reserve for things like this than,
So do you want, so would the general consensus be to have George draw up some type of a resolution that states to clean up what's in the town code versus what the water authority should have?
Yeah, if we don't have a code, we need to have one.
Okay,
and that way, if you do that, if we have to put your verbiage in our code, now you've created your verbiage and we can pull that over into the code update too.
come on in, pull up a chair.
But, yeah, like, we've also got to let everyone over there know that their yokes are coming at the end of their life.
Right.
Well, and maybe that is something that then we could send out with the water bill.
Like
You
we
know,
did
everybody.
meters, we did
Yeah,
meters.
we're seeing this starting to occur, age-related possibly.
Yep.
And, you know, we
Just
just,
be aware, if it
yeah.
happens, this is the process and this is what,
and by the way, double check and make sure you have a pressure relief valve.
yes.
And we could just double-edged sort it.
Yeah. I like
Okay.
that.
So would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
It still seems like we're running thin though.
oh, absolutely. Yeah, if you look at the one I left you.
I mean, it always was, I get shocked at that. Still,
So, did you wanna talk to your grant update or you wanna?
I really don't have a grant update, I think it just
Okay.
carried over, I don't have a grant update, this is our update to the grants.
Okay,
Oh,
So,
yes,
if you wanna talk about this real quickly, this is.
Oh,
Red
yes.
water.
oh, yeah.
This is the next
So we'll move
phase.
D up because we'll move it to our grant update. So Right Water, you wanna tell them about our meeting with them?
Yeah, so right now, I have engaged with Right Water to maintain them for the course of this project, because they are most intimately involved in this. They've done all the legwork up to this point, it just makes sense to stay with them. The next stage in this, as far as the SRF loans, is to get through a project needs assessment. The authority did receive a $10,000 grant of the disadvantaged community. And they asked if I would rather use that toward discipline and engineering or to project needs assessment. This is the next phase to move forward to the SRF. We're getting a $300,000 loan towards engineering and design, and see why I should raise the $10,000 And we have to pay $10,000 out of our pocket to do the project needs assessment. So they're gonna do that for us. And this is their proposal for completing that next phase of the SRF. Like I said, we have $10,000 in grant money to spend toward the project needs assessment. Their long proposal, from what I'm reading, comes in at $12,000.
Right.
So it'll be $2,000 out of the,
Now, how is this Gabriel Malta?
Gabriel Mata?
Yeah, how is he involved in nothing?
Gabriel Mata is the guy that gave you the,
presentation.
presentation last meeting. He is with the Colorado Rural Water Association, and he's doing your water safety needs assessment. So right now you have a rate study, a, capital asset study, and a water protection study running concurrently through the Colorado Rural Water Association.
And
All
this
of
is-
them,
This is all to put a well in the ground.
that is all to help you get more funding to
Right.
fix issues that are coming up in these studies.
Okay.
So they're looking at your system very carefully. They're looking at your assets, they're looking at your rates, they're looking at your security, in your system. And, you know, oddly enough, any deficits that are noted are looked upon highly for funding. If
Oh,
you
really?
really want to get those corrected, if you get violations.
Didn't we do this a year ago?
No, we talked about doing, we've been talking about doing a needs assessment and we went up. So what we had Right Water do was determine the best location for the well.
Yeah,
Okay.
And they did evaluate our system to determine what we would need to do to bring our system up to add the well. So we got kind of some of that, and that's why we stayed with Right Water, was because we've already paid them all that money to get them versed with the system.
and that report they wrote a couple years ago.
Yes.
Is gonna play a huge part in getting this done.
Right,
So that helps.
so it
considerably.
kind of helped cut costs
Now,
on
that's
it.
when, Tammy, you and I went around with those
Yep.
guys.
Yep. So do you need a motion then to approve
I
the
need a motion to-
expenditure?
Yeah, I need a motion to approve this proposal before we can move
To
forward.
accept the proposal and the expense of the extra $2,000.
So moved.
I'll second them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then you'll probably have one that you want me to sign at some point. In your packets, you would have seen, the insurance quote that came for 2024.
Oh, that's what this.
Yeah. So, Kim is still inquiring on this page, what the 473.42 is for water sewer payroll. Because we don't have payroll, we pay them out.
Oh, yeah.
Then she's still waiting on figures for the water line rupture and sewer backup.
That's an optional coverage and those costs don't come out until the end of October. So we kind of just went with what you guys paid previously, which was about $2,900.
So, and if you look at the property schedule, the biggest portion of it is water and sewer. So that $15,882.47 would be our portion of the,
Well, take off those two that aren't highlighted and that would be your portions, about 14,000 something.
oh, you're right. I'm sorry, because the 410 and the 991
Yeah. you'll
are
take
not
those two off.
ours. So, so Kim, do we need to just table moving forward the figure for the operating agreement at this point?
Let's
Because,
table that.
okay,
And then if we need to do a special meeting,
okay,
we can do that to get the budget stuff done and get.
I just don't want to run into your time.
Yeah,
So $1,401 would come off of that figure, and that will be our portion of the insurance for 24's budget. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
and Debbie mentioned she would like to keep that separate from the operating agreement.
yeah, because I would like for instead of breaking this into 1/12 of, 1/12 of the insurance going in our monthly payment to the town, I would still like to carry out a separate line for insurance and just pay it in lump sums.
Oh, pay a lump sum.
Well, so that we would have it at intervals, but it wouldn't be part of that 5,000 that we pay every month to the town. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, okay, so can I have a motion to table the operating agreement until we can hammer out the figures?
I so move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to table the operating agreement under old business. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. At your desks, I left everybody a worksheet for 2024. What I did is Kim had given me the 2023 budget, the 2023 actuals. I took an end of year anticipated. And then, like for our revenue, I took where we were at this point, divided it by the 8 months of revenue that we've received, then multiplied it times 12. At this point, it looks like the revenue is gonna fall short from the 600 budgeted to 564.
That's because of all the rain.
Well, it very well could be. You'll see, under categorized income, we do have the tap fees from Elbert County. 70,000 of that was for the road and bridge building. Now, what I did do is I put that as a restricted fund. So when you go over to end of year of 2023 on the last page, you're gonna see restricted tap fees. I backed it back out because we cannot use that as a carryover. I didn't want that in our carryover.
Okay,
So it changed your new carryover, anticipated carryover to 2024 for 213 instead of 283.
do you follow that, Teresa?
Yes, I did.
Go.
So what I would like for each of you to do is look at numbers, what you'd like to put in here. And think about it. We're not gonna have time to get to it tonight to do budgets. But we need to have a final budget by October, so I either,
Over what, first?
we'll need to publicize it in October.
Okay, so, but I mean,
So
Why don't we put
When-
together a committee?
I was gonna say, can we just do a workshop?
Sure.
Need a meeting workshop and,
I think we just do a committee with two people, right?
okay. Yeah, I think I don't think it's gonna be real difficult, except for adding in the repair of those valves and another 100 meters. So to do those is gonna be a little bit of a challenge.
Teresa, would you be willing to do that? Be on
Yes,
that
I
committee?
would.
Thank you.
I would. You're welcome.
All right, Teresa, Tim, did you wanna do it or?
Sure.
I'm dying to, I can tell. All right, I will reach out to both of you and get us going on that. So that we can send it out to each other before the next meeting. So, we took care of right water resolution. We're gonna take care of George on that. We talked about the yolks. Since we have a full room, was anybody else here to discuss well, I'm here, for discussion?
Yeah.
All right, and we had no other correspondence, so I'm blowing through as fast as I can for you. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. It's 1 o'clock, says 6:55 and 1 says 7. So we are adjourned.
Well,
Yes. We're recording now, but.
You done yet?
Go ahead.
Call this meeting to order at 7:01. Call the roll, please.
Trevor Smith is gonna be absent tonight. Bailey Wyland.
Here.
Terry Howard.
Here.
Josh Baker.
Here.
Andrew Lowry.
Here.
Jonathan Schaefer.
Here.
Pledge the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda, approval of agenda.
I motion we approve the agenda.
We have a motion and a second.
Hold on, I would like to make some revisions to it, please.
Okay, discussion.
Under my report, I'm gonna add comp plan update and community meeting. Auction on the equipment update. And then under discussion. I wanna add a discussion about snowplow personnel for this winter.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the agenda with the amendments, revisions, there we go. Yes.
I'll second that. Any discussion further? All those in favor?
Right.
There, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Not there.
Right, okay. I'd like to remind everyone that we just passed 9/11, and I want to thank the members of this board, the members of water boards, our volunteers in the community that work at the school, our volunteer firefighters, our police officers, and all those people that give time to better the community. We lost a lot of good people on 9/11 in Pennsylvania and Washington DC and New York City. And we need to remember them and make sure and ask that our government protect us as best they can with laws and rules to assure that we continue to run as a democracy as stated in the Constitution of the United States. So I thought that was appropriate to share with you, and hopefully, and I thank this board and water board for their work in keeping the town going. So thank you all. Other than that, we have this in KWWA, Colorado. This is homecoming week. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but the festivities going on up at the school are going to happen Friday night with volleyball, middle school football, and high school football. That's always a pretty cool time. Saturday morning at 10, they're going to hold a parade in town. And we haven't quite decided on the parade route yet, but it'll be either up Main Street or up the back way. I need to talk to the athletic director about that and make sure everything is ready to go. Other than that, I appreciate the work that Sasha and Kim are doing in the office. We get a lot of interesting phone calls throughout the day. And so they've been doing a great job making sure that the town continues to run as smoothly as we can. I know that sometimes government and government entities move a little slowly, but we need to make sure that we do everything that we do in the town correctly, everything we do in the county correctly, and in the state correctly. So I appreciate your hard work. Any board of trustees have anything to share? Is our attorney on? Does she have anything?
She's being technologically challenged right now.
She's what?
She's challenged technologically right now.
Okay, all right. You're up, Kimberly.
Yeah, as you guys will see under your expenditures, they're gonna be delayed until next month. I have gotten with QuickBooks specialists who are rebuilding our profiles into 501c3 profiles, which is what we should be considered, and it's not built that way right now. So good news is it's an easy fix. It just takes a CPA accountant and specialist in QuickBooks to do it. So they're working through that. I have sent them about 30 files today, to do that. So it'll be next month. Comp plan update and community meeting. As you all know, we've got a grant from DOLA to do some, updates to our comprehensive plan that has not been updated since 2009. I want to express the importance of doing these updates to you all. I know a lot of people have differing opinions on what comp plans are, what the purpose of them are. A lot of people have the opinion that they're done and they sit on a shelf and they're never looked at again, and it's a waste of money. To me, it's an avenue to get you funds. When we do these comprehensive plans, it brings out the good and it brings out the bad of what you've got in your community, where you need help, what you're doing good in the community. And that's not just with this board, it's with the water as well. So having representatives, community leaders at these meetings is critical. From my discussion with Kimberly Horn yesterday, they're setting up 3 stations. You will have an opportunity to go to these stations, speak to the Kimberly Horn representatives there. They're each different in some aspect, and they're looking for your input. They're looking for your input on what your vision is for your town, what you find wrong with your town, things you would like to see in your town. It's a whole gamut of questions that they're going to have for you on what your vision is for where you live. And your input is critical in having a true, complete, comprehensive plan for this town. And I'm giving you free food when you come. So, you know, there's a plus. But I really need your faces there. I need your bodies there. I need you to be present. It's 5 to 8 Thursday night. I know people are busy. I'm getting on a plane at 3 o'clock the next morning, but I'm gonna be here. So.
This Thursday?
This Thursday.
I'm in a little
It's on
open
there.
house sheet, right?
So there's a flyer here. I gave each one of you the flyer for that community meeting. This is the first of 2 community meetings. In addition to that community meeting, there's a QR code there to a survey that they really would like you guys to give your input on as well. Because the answers in that survey will also help them create a data set for that, for what they're doing. Okay. And let's see.
Do you know when the second meeting will be?
We haven't got it scheduled yet. Yeah, as soon as I know about that, I'll let you guys know. They did get this one scheduled with about 3 weeks advance notice, so we should have enough advance notice next time. So it wouldn't be a hindrance on your schedule, hopefully. Our equipment, as you all know, that you guys gave me permission to put up for surplus and sell, is on Purple Wave auction. It's not doing too bad. It closes on September 28th. The backhoe currently is holding in at $10,500. Grader is up to $2,100. Our message board's at $40. The 12-foot blade is $30, and bless that dump truck's heart, it's holding in at $10. So the one thing we really want to see go, I just can't get rid of.
As long as they haul it, we're good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's see. I have nothing from Mendez as far as public works right now. Unless you guys have something that you would like me to relay.
I have a question. How did it go with CDOT out here checking out the bridge?
We'll share that with you here in just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like Spartan.
Well, we could share that with
We
them
can share
right
it
now.
now. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
so,
you wanna go or do you want me to?
well,
Go ahead.
I try to be hopeful and positive. We do have a state representative that is pushing for them to come out and do something with us. It all comes back to money. I mean, that's all we hear is the money. They acknowledge that there are about 200 bridges in the state of Colorado that are slotted to be destroyed and replaced. We fall right in the middle. My frustration, and this is my frustration, I'm just voicing out loud, is when you have a representative from CDOT that's sent down here to hear our concerns, our priorities, our fears. And when you have a whole bunch of commissioners and engineers and emergency management personnel from all sorts of entities, and the county seat, admin and mayor standing there voicing, you know, that bridge goes down, there's a 45-minute delay in a golden hour medical emergency. If that bridge goes down, and all that personnel coming from the west, to fight a fire over here in the east, Kiowa Fire is left by themselves to fight that because nobody's gonna get it over here in time to, you know, to get a good handle on it. If a tanker goes over that bridge and it contaminates that water, there goes our water system. You know, those are critical things. And they're asking us for opinions, or asking to hear those things. And as they're asking to hear those things, they're standing with a clipboard against their chest, shaking their head, yes. Nothing's been written down. So that was a frustration. And it doesn't build a lot of confidence in those that have all come together for a meeting, you know, that they were hoping were finally being heard. I'm just being honest. On the flip side of that, the people I work with in Lyman were clear that we need to make the noise. It's not them making these decisions. It's the people higher than them. And they're just as frustrated. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I haven't heard anything else from them since then.
It's like 3 weeks.
We have,
No, it was a couple of weeks ago.
I didn't ask a question, no, but
Go ahead. No,
and, that bridge down there, for those that don't know, was built in 1946. And, that was a little bit after, it withheld the flood. It was supposed to be replaced in 2006, but for some reason, CDOT didn't get around to it. And I can't pick on the CDOT guys a whole lot, because most of the older engineers, the experienced engineers, and I'm not picking on these kids, but they were kids to me because they were pretty young. But they've had to move into positions since the COVID years, when all the guys said, hey, we're not getting the shot, we're retired. So these guys are trying to do their best to keep up with the things that need done in the state of Colorado. And I don't know if you drive on the roads every day, but they're getting pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, but the bottom line becomes money. If you have ever ventured, I don't know if anybody's gone under that bridge, but I was with the Albert County engineer, and the middle pillar is showing rebar. If you walk across that bridge, there's a certain place where you reach like this and push concrete off into the creek. And I asked him, I said, you know, if somebody goes off that bridge, you're gonna be liable for that. Well, we know that. But I asked Ted at CDOT, do they know that that bridge rail is loose? Oh yeah, they know. So after our initial discussion, I asked the young man that's in charge of bridges, I said, when are you gonna start? And he said, well, you've got to do the right of ways on both sides so we can put a temp in. We've got to do this, we got to do that. I said, how long? Can you start tomorrow? No, probably not. And to me, and Kimberly can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking we're maybe 5 to 10 years down the road. Do you agree that long?
I don't know, some people left in the middle of the meeting, so they don't feel like they're ever gonna see it in their life.
Well, and yeah, so, I haven't discussed this with anyone, so I'm just gonna do it, is we're gonna grease that squeaky wheel a little bit, or get that squeaky wheel squeaking. And invite some folks down there to take a look at it and publicize it a little bit, because it needs to be replaced. When you've got rebar showing on the supports underneath, and I can't remember, you're pretty young to remember, but 8, 10 years back, all of a sudden one morning, there's 15 CDOT guys on that bridge, because a hole about that big around the concrete just went whoosh. And so they were in there, they were fixing that, babe. Remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a pretty good sized hole, and yeah,
Just went,
yeah, but that, oh, we fixed it. It's gonna be good. So, We're going to try to get people out here that are in the know, because these guys are just basically responsible for going out and building bridges. And if you think about it, all of the county is right here in the town of KWWA. That bridge goes down, 70% of the population lives across the creek. So how do you get them there? Sheriff's office, same boat. Because if you don't know this, the only way to get across the creek is County Road 174. And you can't take any big rigs across that because it was a 65 built bridge that was only supposed to be there for 5 years. And I'm not gonna tell you that part of it, but I hit it one night and the bridge goes like this. It's like, yeah, you've been on that bridge. Yeah, there you go. Or the other way around is go clear to Elbert. And come in by the football field down Elbert. That's the only two ways across. So it needs to be repaired and you know, I'm gonna make some calls and get some folks down here and let them take a look at it. Because it becomes a safety issue and it becomes for the whole county, not just the town of KWWA. It's a safety issue for the whole county. So we'll see what happens.
What if we start emailing, writing letters to our state senator and our state representative?
I took
About
all
it.
those letters that are already been written, they
Yeah,
answered
we
those,
wrote tons of them.
sent them all to them. They requested, that's the first thing they requested.
Thinking about things like Channel 4, investigative news, Channel 13, Fox 31 coming down. You know, maybe standing there on the bridge saying, hey, film me while I push this rail over, you know, type thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a dangerous situation. And the other side that they have barricaded with those road, whatever they call those things, that side's worse than the south side. So, yeah. So anyway, if you hear about me getting yelled at for something.
I have our legal counsel on speakerphone now. She's not able to get connected to
Okay.
him, so she's on speakerphone. Ruth, we skipped your report. Do you have anything for report?
Well, only with regard to the memo that Kim sent to you summarizing our legal issues, and if anybody had any questions or concerns on that information, we can go through in detail now, or we can do it at the next meeting. But there's a lot of information in that, so.
You did. Josh has a question.
I just had one question looking back through some of the Digby stuff. Do we have any paperwork actually putting Kraft as his representative? Do we? Okay. I from
He
before
was
my
actually a
time,
faculty
so.
member.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Digby information was provided when we brought this to their attention a couple weeks ago. But prior to that, we didn't have any evidence in our files.
Okay, thank you, Ruth. Okay, let's move on. Any other questions or concerns? Andy, do you have any?
I was gonna ask. I'm not seeing it right away, but I got a text from House or something like that.
That was sent to you incorrectly. It's involving a matter for building permit.
Yeah.
Have we gotten back with them?
We've been working with them, so, yeah. Henry and Ford House,
Yeah.
Henry and,
It's actually not a matter for town meeting.
yeah. So. Okay, can move on to consent items, approval of minutes for August 8th, 2023.
I motion we approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Who was the second?
Pardon me?
Who was the
Yeah,
second?
Josh. And expenditures will be delayed until the 10th of October.
October 10th meeting.
Okay.
unless I can get them sooner.
Did I miss anything, Ross? No. Okay, anybody sign up for public comment? Okay, I would entertain a motion to close the regular meeting.
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go out of our meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's 7:21. And I'd entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, in your packet, we have special event applications for 3 different events, and we will start with the pardon my French, Vasquez Pickering wedding. Anybody here for that? Show down up here and tell us what's up.
Can I go up here?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay.
Tell us your name and bring Cutie along if you want to, and life will be good.
Oh, we're great.
That's all right. Kids are cute.
Okay, I'm gonna have to.
Okay, we'll hold up until she gets done.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, how about the Stutz wedding? Did I say that right? Come on up here and introduce yourself and tell us what you got going.
My name is Brittany.
Okay.
I'm hoping that I can get married and that you guys will approve me to have a legal license.
Okay, are you the one getting married?
I am.
You are? Okay. So tell us your last name and a little bit about your event.
My last name's Osborne.
Okay,
I don't know. It's
when is your event?
October 13th.
Okay,
It's at the fairgrounds.
okay.
It's gonna be a wedding. I'm so sorry.
You're the one getting married, don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
I don't really, what do you want to know?
Okay, so at the fairgrounds, who's going to serve liquor at your wedding?
The bar, Kiowa Bar.
Iowa Bar? Are they all going to be top certified servers?
I believe so, according to their supervisor.
How are we gonna keep the little ones away from the drinking? Are you gonna hand mark, or are you gonna do wristbands, or what do we got going?
So I would like them to get ID, and after they get an ID, they can get a wristband put on by whoever's bartending. I don't want anyone else involved.
Yeah. Is it beer and wine, or is it like open bar with hard stuff?
Beer and wine.
Beer and wine, okay,
Hard stuff.
all right.
It looks like the bar is doing it, so they're probably gonna use the same protocol they use on every single event.
Yeah. I did kind of tell him what you feel like is appropriate. He's the expert.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions for this young lady?
I do love your town,
You do? Oh, I kinda like it.
Why did you choose Iowa?
because it reminds me of the town I grew up in. I grew up in Wyoming. I grew up in Worland, Wyoming.
Oh, from July.
Okay, yeah, so
Where's
I
the-
liked.
Where's the soon to be from?
He's from Littleton.
Littleton?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, whatever. It's not as cool as me.
Okay, anything else you can tell us? Quite a few people?
I don't know, only 50 people are RSVP'd and the deadline's tomorrow, so.
Are we gonna have the sheriff drop by?
If that's what I'm supposed to do, let's do it.
Well, just to make sure that,
Absolutely, you tell me what to do and I'll do it.
well, the application pretty much covers it. I'm just kind of seeing what you got going. Are you the planner too?
Yeah.
You're a tough kid. Okay. Well, congratulations, and if we have no more questions, we appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, we gotta vote on it
Oh,
first.
sorry, okay.
Hold on, Sasha,
Sasha.
they gotta vote on
Gotta vote on
it
it.
first. So they-
We gotta vote
They
on
might say no.
After the public hearing.
I know, right?
it. Okay, thank you. You can sit down, we'll quit embarrassing you. Wallerstead Brown? Introduce yourselves, please, to the board.
I'm Serenity Wallerstead. I am the mother and planner.
I am Zoe Wallerstedt. I am Brand, I guess.
I'm Matt Brown and I am the groom.
Yes, and we would like for you guys to approve us to have a liquor license at their wedding. We're running it under the business insurance. We will supply the alcohol, but we have a bartender. And for, keeping a eye on underage drinking, we will have the bartender ID. Anyone underage will have an X on their hand.
Okay. Are these guys, top certified?
They will be, yes.
They will be?
I have not hired them yet. I wanted to wait till we were.
Great. Okay, that's probably a good idea.
Awesome.
And, how long of reception are we having? About,
5
5 hours probably.
okay?
Yep.
And they put that time in their report if you haven't, seen that yet. Well, sounds like, have, anyone notified the sheriff to kind of drop by and,
I have not done that yet, but I did see it in the application and I
Okay.
will reach out.
cause that's kind of, and I don't think they use posse members for that. I think they use the actual deputy.
No, they can use posse. It's a private party, so posse would come over there and do that.
I did touch base. I did call them, but I didn't say when the event was until after this thing, but they said, yeah. No,
Okay,
Do you have a certificate of insurance showing the fairgrounds as an additional
I
insurance?
do.
Okay, because it wasn't in the packet, so I was just wondering if you had one.
The fairgrounds has it.
Okay.
I could've sworn
As
I
long
gave
as
a
they
copy
have
to
one,
you guys.
that's fine.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then, of course, I will have the liquor insurance.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
okay. Any questions, board? Okay, have fun getting married. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Tips.
Tips. Yeah. Tips. Okay, tips. Your tip.
I live in one.
Okay, you stand right there. Don't come up here. Stand right there and be loud.
Okay, hi. What
Hi,
do you guys need to know? I'm sorry, I tried, I couldn't hear.
tell me your name.
I'm Emily Vasquez, or
Okay.
Pickering was my maiden name.
All righty, and your event is September 15th?
Yes, Friday.
Holy mackerel. Kind of waited a little long, didn't you?
Well, I'm my brother-in-law, he's the one who dropped off the liquor license.
Okay, so are we doing the beer and winer open bar and who's doing it?
Yep, KWWA is doing it, it's open bar, beer and wine, what else, sorry?
And they'll be certified?
Yes,
And,
it's an employee of the bar.
okay, and we're gonna keep track of IDs and,
Yep, we have wristbands for over 21.
okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Have you notified Elbert County?
I'm
Sure.
assuming Corey has, but I can double check and confirm.
Okay, all right. As long as there's somebody to, we don't want anybody crashing your party or getting out of there too intoxicated.
Yes, absolutely.
That wouldn't be good.
No.
So, board, any questions?
No.
Good luck. Okay, those are our three public hearings. Motion to come out of public hearing,
So moved.
7:29.
We
have a second?
Vote on them.
No, after we come out of meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Jonathan. Andy. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, pose same sign. Motion to go back into the regular scheduled meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So we can let these folks go. May I have a vote of the board now for those?
You're gonna do them all at one time, you have to do them separately.
Pardon me?
Do you have to do them all separately or you do them all at one time?
What's the pleasure of the board?
I say we give them the same time.
Okay.
Make a motion that we approve all three liquor licenses.
Okay, for the Vasquez Pickering, Stutz Wedding and Wallerstedt Brown. We have a motion on the floor from Jonathan. We have a second. We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Okay, let's go get married. And you're more than welcome to hit the road, so you don't have to listen to the rest of this.
Thank you for exhaustive planning, but you know, just go for it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
Have this for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Once upon a time.
No.
Yeah, that's in September.
Yeah, I read.
Hey. Oh, my goodness.
Is that pretty hard? Yeah.
Yeah, they're having all these at the fairgrounds, aren't they? Yeah.
All of them are fair, yeah, that's the only reason they would come here for a liquor license.
Why do we have that?
Oh, wait. That's up the hill.
Yeah.
But that one even hurts. Oh, so that's, yeah, first September 5th, that's awesome.
I thought that was just the event company that was
Oh,
planning.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's.
Yeah, that's the event.
You're not doing
planners
this, I
company.
have to do it.
No, they're not doing that.
Do we have?
But there's,
There's pretty clear.
Okay.
but there's all the maps.
I'll get them to fill in and we can sign it.
Okay. All right, under new business, we have 3 new members of our planning and variance committee. And I'd like to introduce them right now. Julie Mezak, come on up. Mezak, come on up here in front. And Todd Lane and Shannon Lane. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have you repeat after me. The oath of office of the Joint Planning Commission and Variance Committee as a member. And and state your name. Oh, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I,
Julie Zach Shannon Lane.
Do swear or affirm
do swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
That
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
The
Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
the laws of the State of Colorado,
the Home Rule Charter,
the Home Rule Charter,
ordinances and rules and regulations of the town of Kiowa,
ordinance, rules, and regulations of the town of Kiowa,
and will faithfully perform the duties
and will faithfully perform the duties
of the Office of Joint Planning,
of the Office of Joint Planning,
Commission and Variance Committee
Commission and Variance Committee
of the town of Kiowa, Colorado,
of the town of Kiowa, Colorado,
upon which I am about to enter
upon which I am about to enter
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you. And Kimberly has some paperwork for each of you. And I will sign those when we're done. Thank you for helping out with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, budget committee, when she's done. Budget committee. Kimberly, we need a budget committee.
Yep, I need, you guys to decide who wants to serve on that budget committee this year, so I can start getting stuff together. We're probably gonna need to have a budget meeting.
How many we need?
We had 3 last year. You, Trevor. Good.
Ian, Terry,
Sure.
Andy's going to.
I
So
can
us.
do it too.
All right, you wanna take my place?
Nope, you're coming with me, I'll pick you up.
Okay. Thank you, dear.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we have her done.
We did table the operating agreement with KWWA tonight. We got insurance figures. Debbie and I are still working on a few things
Okay,
on that, so
thank you.
I wanna finish that with Debbie before.
Tell me about the snowplow.
We need personnel. So I talked to Ben long toward the end of spring when we got one of our last snows. Couple more last snows, as you're aware, and Ben couldn't come. He got a promotion on the ranch that he is foreman on. And it takes more time away from his ability to be here on an as needed basis. And he hinted at the fact then that he may not be able to continue to do that this winter. I'm still waiting for an answer back from him, whether that still holds true, because if it is the route that he's going, I need a formal resignation from him. So in light of that, I need to know from you guys if you want to go with a contract service this winter, or if you want me to start seeking another snowplow driver on a temporary as needed basis. I did talk to CDOT today, and they've put out a posting for a temporary snowplow driver. They're not getting a bunch of luck with getting people to apply for it. So, I mean, we can put it out. They are offering $25 an hour with no benefits from CDOT.
Could we do like two and then one fill in where the other one can't type of thing?
We could. Our challenges we have right now, just so you guys are aware, is that we only have a tractor. We have a tractor. This year, we do not have a backhoe that can push the snow pusher. So we are limited on equipment, which would lean me more toward a contract service because they come with their equipment.
is the plow truck that we have in fairly good working order?
The plow truck, yes, it's fine.
Okay, so we have that,
And
and then we have the little
tractor.
John Deere. And if it's snowing, you don't wanna be on the John Deere, cause it's cold.
Yeah, it's not.
And I don't know if it pushed that big tire thing anyway, so.
Well,
And Josh and I don't think wanna do it, do we?
No.
Thank you, Josh. Yes, ma'am.
What are the requirements?
Why don't we what?
The
What are the
requirements for that
requirements?
position?
Well, the requirements we had last year were, they needed to have some experience because they're gonna be driving our snowplow trucks. And I needed to make sure they are able to do a pre-trip and a post-trip in those trucks. They can't just get in it and drive off with
Does
it.
it require a CDL?
Does not require CDL. It's a regular pickup truck
Yeah, it's a
with a
small
plow on the
pickup.
front. So we asked for some experience, good driving record, no criminal, felony convictions. You know, that's a town thing, that's not a driving thing.
They have to do a drug test?
Have to do a drug test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, ma'am.
What are the boundaries? Where are they plowing? What are they plowing?
We have a snowplow route, so we have a priority route. Bus routes, mail routes are priority. 86, I'm still working with CDOT on how we're gonna handle that this year. Historically, CDOT plows from the two outside lanes into the middle lane. Okay, our normal CDOT person was out all last winter, so that created quite an issue with people who aren't familiar with Kiowa and how we usually operate here. We're hoping to correct that before snow starts flying this year, and our CDOT guy is gonna be here this winter, so that's a plus. But it's gonna be up, it's gonna be clearing out that middle lane on 86, it'll be hitting the school routes, and then the neighborhoods.
Okay.
Yeah, CDOT does not plow the curb.
Mm-mm.
So that's why we have the big ice block down in front of Patty Ann's every year.
Mhm.
And in front of Vino's, in front of Trevor's, and in front of, there's 4 of them.
Placer.
But CDOT, and just a little history quickly. In 1956 or 7, Darrell Abbey bought Patty Ann's and opened a grocery store. And had no problem with ice. 2 years later, CDOT comes in and does the drainage. And from 59 on, we've had an ice block down in front of Patty Ann's. But CDOT won't come in and they won't plow the curb because there's a state law against it. So we have to go down and get the ice out. And Josh has done it, I've done it. But it's a difficult task. And, you know, we don't have the equipment really. We have a little John Deere, and I don't know what size that John Deere is, but, you know, to break that ice that's about that thick is really a tough little thing. So if we hit that early, you know, the plow driver goes down both and the south side more than the north side. If he hits that south side 2 or 3 times and gets that snow out of there, and the local people don't throw all their snow back in there, then we can keep it pretty open. But if the sidewalk's shoveled into the street, then we've got a problem. So, and it's been a problem for a lot of years, ever since I moved here, well, way back when Daryl owned the store, so. My suggestion would be, since it would be nice to have someone, but I think that's gonna be a difficult task to find. So I think we ought to reach out to some of the kids that have businesses. We have one in town, that lives down at the four-way stop that does that. There's two kids out in Pine Meadows that plow. They have 2 trucks and 2 plows. And just get 3 or 4 bids and see where we're at.
Well, the priority is mainly 86, 45, the school routes, and then, you know, when the sun comes up. Mendez, you know, I can have Mendez come in and use our plow truck and try to hit some of the residential streets, so that would save us some money too, you know, not having to have hire contract help to do the entire town. But hit the priority routes.
Yeah. And we don't plow Kiowa unless there's 4 inches. So,
No,
yeah,
no, we
No.
plow if there
We've
is an
been-
inch,
we low inch,
it's what the code says, yes.
okay, my bad.
Yeah,
I'm
4
correct.
inches is a lot.
Yeah, because we
Yeah.
weren't, in the old days, they didn't plow it when I
Yeah,
first
they
moved.
do, and a lot of what, and when you say they, problem we're having with CDOT and why I'm having to sit down with them is, we're we got issues both ways, well, at least we did last year, hopefully it's corrected this year, but if they plow the outside lanes, they're plowing it into the curb lines, which those are our responsibility. So when they plow it in the curb lines, then we gotta get it out of the curb lines or off the sidewalks. We're telling the citizens not to put it in the curb, off the sidewalks, so it's kind of productive, but then they're putting it in the middle of the highway, and if somebody's not coming through and getting rid of that, then that's also melting and creating the issue on the curb lines.
On the south side.
So it's gotta be addressed better this year.
So, my question would be to the board, is it the pleasure of the board to get, bids for contractors to come in and plow the town?
Yeah, I think
And then
that's a
we'll-
good idea.
Well, where would somebody apply if they wanted, can
We
they
open
put
it
it
up on
on,
Indeed, and I put it out on the website.
on the website? Indeed. I mean,
What are you thinking, Lincoln?
well,
You got
I mean,
somebody
we
in
can
mind?
do. Well, I'd volunteer my husband for anything, but he's
So
not
do
here to say no, so
I do it all
I
the
won't do
time.
that right now. But, I mean, I'm sure there might be some people if the word was out there, but I mean, I'm
So-
okay with doing some bids too, but
We
maybe
had
both.
6 applicants last year.
Yeah. And
I'm pretty sure one of them showed up drunk.
he was either drunk or stoned,
Yeah,
and he dropped about 9 bombs. While he
yeah.
was interviewing, so,
Perfect.
And about a 8-page driving record.
yeah,
So Ben was the best one out of all. I mean, he was reliable. It's just, you know, he's a foreman on this ranch and.
and he lives
does-
in Franktown,
He lives in Franktown.
yeah, and
So
if we have road closure, then we got a problem, so.
we didn't have anybody from the community or close by
Yeah.
apply.
that
Everybody
applied.
that applied was either from Franktown or further west.
Who does Elizabeth?
They have their
Town of Elizabeth.
Yeah, they have their own road crew. They're big enough to have their own crew.
Yeah, they do, and they have 4 or 5 plow trucks, so.
Would they help us out, like with some sort of IGA or something?
I
Or
don't,
are we too small?
not that we're too small, I just, with the amount of snow we got last year and them not even having enough manpower to keep up with their own workload, I don't see
Yeah.
them entering into an IG with us to carry some of ours.
Yeah, they've got a lot, they're opening up a lot of new streets,
Yeah.
and they have a lot more responsibility over there, so. Well, we'll look at it both ways, we'll put it out for advertise it. And we'll.
And if we don't get really good hits, I could put it out now,
Yeah,
and if we don't get really good hits, that'll give us an idea of what we're looking at, trying to hire somebody, and then we can move to the option of contract.
Do we
I
have
just want-
any idea what a contractor,
Well, there
are
was
they
a,
like,
there was a
last
couple,
I heard 125 an hour?
125 an hour with their truck,
yeah,
okay.
there was a,
that's what I've heard.
there was a
Okay.
couple that we got a quote from last year when we were considering, in between when Ben couldn't be here,
Mhm.
they wanted $900 every time they came to town
Yeah,
to plow the town.
Wow, okay,
So that's a lot considering how much snow we got last year.
yes,
We might get more this year.
I know,
yeah.
I know.
yeah, well, that's one job that's not
So
a
would
lot of
that be
fun.
an option to have 2 people? I mean, That's what I'm saying,
Can't
split it
do
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause
Yeah.
I mean, to rely on one person.
Yeah, I'd rather split it up and have, like Mendez come in
Yeah.
and he is tied down by how many hours he can work
Yeah.
a year, and that's the problem with that.
Mhm.
When we could hire, I'm leaning more toward you guys' thought process that maybe Mendez needs a little help, maybe at least one day a week, if we could find somebody to come in one day a week.
Yeah.
And then that might help us if we have Mendez Tuesdays and Thursdays and then get another person one more day a week, praying and hoping that the snow falls on those days, I don't know.
Okay,
We
so
can figure
for,
something out.
for right now, we will,
Applications first.
put this out and see if we can hire someone. And we'll also get some bids on contract, okay?
Sounds good.
Because it's becoming more and more difficult to find people that will,
It is.
have a license without a long series of infractions and pass the test. So,
Well, and some people aren't willing to drive this far.
yeah, that's true.
Without
too.
any benefits, and sometimes Ben was here all night long sometimes, leaving his wife and twin babies at home by themselves.
Yeah.
And, the money just isn't worth it to them if they sit down and really think about it, if they're having to drive from a long ways to get here and get back home again.
There are
Yeah.
two that do the mobile home park. And they do a really good job. One of them I wouldn't even think of asking, so.
Okay. I don't like this one.
I know.
Okay,
I live there, I know.
we'll get that taken care of. Any discussion or communication items? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Who's the
Who's
first?
First, I didn't hear that.
I'll be the first one.
Okay, first, do we have motion and second? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Okay, thank you for coming.
Can we call these guys? They applied for a liquor license with us for a wedding. They're having it once upon a time.
They're the event planners, they're not
That's
the
the event
people.
planners.
I asked the same.
We asked
thing.
that question.
Okay, yeah, because they did a drawing.
I'm like, so we can do licensing for way
Well,
out.
and then all other county fairgrounds sign off on it.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mr.
the,
Kraft, Tim,
The weather was good.
I got one for you.
How you doing?
I'm good. I wanted to thank you for your efforts.
And then Sasha will sign here,
Yeah,
and then Eric will sign here.
First, that was
I'd like to talk to you.
Yeah,
please, if you don't mind.
never
Can I talk to
easy,
you for a minute?
but I appreciate you doing that.
Great.
Things going right now?
Yeah, we're doing good.
and
Thank you.
Of course.
this is the.
See you guys.
Rick, I need you to
Thanks for the,
Uh,
Well, it's that with the non-news, these guys are the.
Not attend.